Hey, welcome back here to another episode of the Central PA Pour, and Dave is back in studio with us.
Yep, here I am.
Here you are. So, hey, we have some guests that we're going to be bringing in here. We're happy to have them here, but make sure you look us up on all your social media platforms at Central PA Pour. Look us up where you can get your podcast as well on all those listening platforms. And we are doing a giveaway. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel. So go out there and give us a sub on our YouTube, create any post on social media, tag us, share it out with some friends, and use the hashtag CPP500. Trying to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube, and we got some stuff we're giving away, some cash prizes to some local breweries and a brewery of your choice, and along with an insulated mug with the CPP logo.
Right.
So we got some special guests. Anything you've had going on, Dave?
No,
you were out in Pittsburgh recently.
Yeah, out in Pittsburgh. Went down there for the week, and mainly for my wife. She wanted to visit some libraries. So, and I actually got a chance to go over to the Necromancer Beer Festival and up at their brewery, and it was pretty nice. They had a lot of brewers there who bring in their wares, and you drink your fill. You drink your fill. We Ubered, so we didn't have to worry about the local law.
Well, it sounds like it was a pretty good time. Yeah. So without further ado, let us bring in our guest. These is Alex, Alan, and Jake from Boneshire Brew Works. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Central PA Pour. How are you guys doing?
Cheers. Good. Ready for warm weather.
Yeah, ready for warm weather. So, yeah, that's hopefully coming up here soon. By the time this gets out, we'll be getting close to Easter, and we had just turned the clocks up. So I know that makes my wife happy when you get that extra hour of daylight. So
yeah, it's nice to be able to have that extra hour when you leave work and a little more sunlight at the end of the day.
So tell us a little bit about Boneshire. Where are you guys at? Can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, so our physical location, the brewery location and tap room, is at 7462 Dairy Street. We're about halfway between Hershey and Harrisburg. We also have a tap room in Soma neighborhood in Harrisburg, South 3rd Street. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube. Well, actually, not YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have a website, www.boneshire.com. It's got our tap menus as well as our hours, what's on tap, what's in cans, so on and so forth. Pizza menu. That's right. Forgot the pizza menu. But
yeah, tell you what, we were just up there, to pick up the beer for this episode, and the three of us went up and with our wives, we had a good time. Pizza menu for what you guys put out on them little tabletops was really good. It was really good pizza.
We can really crank through them too. They're pretty traditional Neapolitan style. We make the dough in house. We do everything in house from that standpoint. I make the dough just about every day.
Oh wow!
It's a love-hate thing for me. I love to hate doing it, but yeah, it's So everything we do try to do it pretty traditional in that we let it ferment 2 to 3 days. So it's as traditional as it comes. We cook them at about 700 degrees, so they're cooked in about 90 seconds. So it's pretty quick.
That's pretty cool. So where did the name Boneshire come from?
So it's actually a combination of my son's nickname and our dog's nickname. And at the time when I started, we were trying to come up with a name that fit who we are, and then also not get in trademark trouble. And,
there we go.
And so one of the best ways to do that is to come up with a name and just come up with something that doesn't exist, obviously. And Boneshire is the bone in Boneshire is Hambone, which is my son's nickname, and Shire is the dog. He was a Yorkshire Terrier that was part of the family for 15 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool, because I thought somebody was a farmer.
So there is part of that too. So my family, traditionally, we're pig farmers. There was always a plan to tie that into actually do barbecue, but that hasn't happened yet. We've shied away from it because we want to do it the right way, and doing traditional barbecue is not something that you do in 10 minutes. It's a time committed thing that we've always done here and there throughout the year, but not regularly.
And I see that Alex says he likes to barbecue. So is he going to be the barbecue guy?
He eats the barbecue.
He just eat it. Well, yeah, no, I do like the barbecue, but I can't commit to making barbecue if we ever decide to open up a restaurant.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys got a quaint little spot, but you also have a second location, right? You have a tap room?
We do. We have a small tap room in Harrisburg, South 3rd Street, in the Soma neighborhood. We're open there Wednesday to Saturday. I don't know if you've ever been down in that area. It's a pretty cool area. Streets lit up, nice. There's summertime. It's great to be there because it's nice outdoor seating. You're just south of the Capitol, so there's always a lot of hustle and bustle in that area.
That's pretty cool. I think the first time I ran into one of your beers was actually not at any of your locations. It was up at Greystone in Dillsburg.
Okay. Yeah,
out there at the golf course area. And they said that you make the beer. How did that partnership come up?
So Jason, who owns and operates Greystone, he actually is, make long story short, through an acquaintance, one of the other owners, his brother-in-law, Carson Book, who was one of the other owners, he knew him personally, and they were looking to work with a local brewery. And we've sold beer to them for a long time, but then they came to us and said, "Hey, do you want to make some beer for us?" And we have. I think we've done it probably going on 4 years. That's
pretty cool. That's really good. I actually brought one when we were up there the other night. I brought one back, the Dilston, because it's a red. It's an Irish red, and we just brewed our own Irish red. So I'm like, I had to compare it. It's really good.
That was the first beer I ever brewed, was an Irish red.
Was it? That was our first grain. So
nice.
I think ours turned out pretty good comparison to what I'm tasting from commercial brewers. So kudos to everybody.
So way better than mine. Mine was my first attempt ever with a kit. It was okay. It wasn't bad.
So we got Alan, Alex, and Jake. Where does Jake fit into this picture?
Jake is the brewer.
He is the brewer.
He is the brewer now. So he flies the ship, at least in the brew house.
Okay. And how did this partnership all come about? I mean, this was something you guys been friends for a while. I mean, how did this all come about?
So when we started, I actually was a partner with another guy in Milbach Brewing Company, and at the time it was I'm not sure how much you guys know about the beer business, but it's tough, and you to go out and have no experience and convince a bank or others to give you a lot of money to go buy a lot of stainless steel, it's tough, and so we foot the bill with what we could and started out small, and it got to the point where we needed to make a decision on what direction to go. I decided we both basically decided to move on. I decided to keep going for my side and track down friends, family members, somehow convince them to
loan you the money,
give me money and put it in the business. And we started out with 3 fermenters and a bright tank. Now we have 5 fermenters in a bright tank. We could probably double or triple that. We've invested a lot of money in our business into critical infrastructure, like upgrading our chiller units to be able to handle a lot more tanks. Our kettle is way bigger than it needs to be. So we've kind of developed and built this from a plug and play type of perspective. But needless to say, when we started, we had 12 owners. It's a lot. Right now, the way it works is I own the majority of the business, but everybody has input. At this point, we're 7, almost 8 years into this. How Jake came involved, Alex, I actually started working with him when I moved out to Central PA. I'm originally from the Pittsburgh area, and Alex introduced me to my wife, and so somehow we've maintained our friendship since then. I don't know how, but we have.
I haven't heard the end of it since.
Yep. So, what, 4 years? You worked for us for 3 years now? 2 years? 3 years?
Well, it was phase 1, phase 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, we'll count that as all one. But Jake came into it. Tell them a little about yourself. Where are you from? Where are you?
So I'm from just across the river, actually right across the river from Allen, Duncannon. And so I graduated college, no brewing experience. My mother was in contact with Allen because we picked up the grain for a farm because I grew up in a family farm. And so I was like, originally I was like, you need a bartender or something. He wanted more back of the house help. So did an interview, questions, can you lift 50 to 100 pounds? Can you drive a manual transmission? And we went alone. So from there, and Alan took a big risk because I knew nothing about making beer.
And here you are. You're the head brewer.
Yep.
So you've kind of learned on the job.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we hired him was because he could drive a manual transmission.
Yeah.
Because what you don't know is our brew truck is a manual transmission. And you know, how do you keep a kid from stealing a car today? You get it in a manual transmission. So when you have a truck full of beer and they want to take it, they don't know how to drive it, so you just leave it there.
There we go. That was a hell of an interview. Can you drive manual? Because I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't know how to drive a manual shift car anymore.
Right. That's right.
And it's amazing. So you guys have been in business since 2016?
Yep. 2016, October 2016 is when we opened.
You guys got a pretty good operation out back there as far as you're doing canning and everything else. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
We've, like I said, we've slowly worked into buying equipment. You know, I've always kind of gone by the idea of spending money you have that, you know, to buy the equipment you really need to grow. And so we've managed to work ourselves in a position where we own our equipment. We don't owe anybody anything.
That's good.
We've, you know, to in the world today, in anything, you know, first and foremost, you got to be in the black. You know, you got to be able to pay your bills, and then to make a little bit of money, and then to grow it, you got to keep reinvesting in the business. And we have the big last purchase was a canning line. We used to manually can everything by hand, and it was an absolute just total nightmare.
That's a team.
Now we have a canning line that can do. We really push it 30 cans a minute. You know, we've really are at this point just making enough cans to feed the tap room. You know, we really haven't even tapped the market per se.
Well, that's cool. I mean, we know all about investing in equipment, but we haven't gotten any return on it yet.
I hear you there.
Yeah, it was nice to get the canning line. That was a big jump for us. It increased efficiency and consistency of product in quality product in the packaging sense. It worked out nice. There were some growing pains in just getting it to run the way we wanted to, but there was a few days where Alan wanted to pull his hair out. But yeah, we got it working. I think the next thing we're going to buy for Jake is a mash tun.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Oh, there we go. So you're right. Dave was when we had Molly Pitcher on here with their episode. They don't have a canning line. They bring in a company, and Dave went up there right after we recorded with them to take video of this mobile canning line. It was pretty. So he knows all about what those canning lines can do. So.
Yeah, the one they had up at Molly Pitcher was that was brought in. It was Ironheart. Okay. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, but they're a mobile canning company, and they come in a big truck and then unload and set up their line, and it's massive to be portable.
Yeah,
it's a massive setup, and they had 3 guys running it, and it just ran the cans out, you know, pallet after pallet after pallet. I was amazed.
Now for us, we can three guys makes it nice. 2 can do it. we really want to get two pieces of the puzzle. We want to get a date coder and then an auto labeler and a pack off table. That's
so you're hand labeling right now.
Yeah, we have a semi-auto labeler that basically you got to haul ass when the cans are coming off. Basically, Jake feeds the cans on the machine. I run the other end and cross our fingers and hope shit doesn't hit the fan in between. Which has happened more than once.
Well, I tell you what, I'm ready for our first beer. So tell us a little bit about what we're going to be drinking for our first one.
So our first one is a green machine. So Jake, you're going to have to check me on this if I screw anything up. We've brewed this beer, 30 or 40 times, if not more. It's our flagship IPA, Citra Mosaic. We have changed the recipe and tweaked the recipe over the years to where it is now. We put basically everything. All the hop additions are all 15 minutes left in the boil or dry hop. So it's got some bitterness. It's not overly bitter. It's still on the West Coast side, but has a lot of floral, fruity, subtropical notes. Obviously with the Citra Mosaic, a lot of big charges. Day 2, day 3 fermentation charges for the dry hopping, and then right not too long before patching, 3-4 days before packaging, we put another big dose in. But pretty standard 2023 hopping procedures. I say that because it's changed so much over the years. But
is this an original recipe?
It is. Okay. Yep.
Cheers to the green machine. Oh, I definitely get the hops out of it and the aroma. That's a hoppy IPA. So whose recipe is this one?
This is we've, like I said, we've been working on this for 6 years, 7 years since we've opened it.
Whose original recipe was a homebrew recipe?
No, actually it wasn't. This was developed and built from in-house on the system, our current system. I mean,
okay.
Everything that I tweaked and learned was, homebrewing to that into it. But it's, the one thing that anybody brews beer knows that, systems and equipment can be constraints or help in making good beer or not, and in our case, one of the things, because we have a direct fire kettle, it actually, and the way we whirlpool and the amount of time that it takes us to knock out and transfer, we got to watch how much and when we dose with hops. If you get too early, super bitter, we found that even with hopping really late, even later than 15 minutes in the boil or 15 to go in the boil, you're still getting a lot of bitterness, a lot of hoppiness, a lot of floral character, fruity character. I mean,
and we've heard that numerous times of the different hops that you're going to use and when to use them to get the exact what you're trying to go for out of it.
Right.
It's a science.
It is. We've flip-flopped around on when to add the Citra or Mosaic, and at this point, both Jake and I agree that Mosaic seems to be, at least the Mosaic that we're getting, is a little bit better than the Citra from the taste character and bitterness character. It's been, for the longest time, it was hard to get these. It was hard to get Citra Mosaic. Now, the way the world's gone, it's now it's super easy to get. Heck, you don't even have to have a contract. You can get this stuff. But, there isn't a brewery out there that isn't using these hops. I mean, they're pretty standard now these days.
Yeah, you see that in a lot of IPAs. It's either Citra Mosaic, Chinook's another one. What else are they? All kinds.
You still see some Nugget, Cascade, Centennial. You still see some of the classic C style, hops. But now it's, a lot of New Zealand, South African, anything you can get where you're going to increase the, tropical notes and almost orange-like and, mango-like characteristics you can get, peach, things like that.
I've heard that the home brewers that we had on here from Scabs of Southern County, they were talking about some of the New Zealand hops that are coming up, that they bring in a whole different characteristic. The one couple we had on, the Chisholm brothers from CNC, they brought stuff back from Hawaii that brought a whole different flavor profile to it. So, gentlemen, this is clean. It's crisp. I'm usually not an IPA guy, but this is a very drinkable beer, so kudos.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
So, did everybody do home brewing but Jake?
Jake's a home brewer now.
Yeah.
He's a home brewer now. He's also a commercial brewer now.
Yes. Which is actually detrimental because they use a commercial system and a lot of use it to control temperatures, chill times. And it can be frustrating, but to go back to a homebrew system, which is just a couple of cutout kegs. So
Yeah, but I found that was always the fun part of homebrewing, because you would make a stupid mistake and you go, oh my gosh, that made this beer taste really well, or I had to adjust something to make up for the flavor that I ended up coming with out of the fact that I couldn't control something, or I made a mistake or did something stupid. Like I was telling you, that first Irish Red that I made, I pitched the yeast way too hot, and I had to let it basically blow off and eventually let it rest and extra age in the bottle a lot longer before it became drinkable flavored beer. But it ended up turning out really well, and I couldn't duplicate it because I didn't know at the time to log every stupid mistake that I made.
We've heard that story, and Dave actually mentioned that in one of the episodes about how Worcestershire sauce came about.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of the fuck ups become some of the better beers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how long did you guys homebrew before you decided to take this step, Alan? You said you homebrewed?
I homebrewed for probably 7-8 years, if not more, before I took the plunge. And there's a significant difference in dealing with recipe development and tweaking things. Anybody, this now that you guys are all grain brewing, there's so many minute things that play into making a beer taste the way you want it to, or the opposite. But, in the end, control is really critical, whether it be mash temperature, fermentation temperature, how hard of a boil you're getting, the quality of grain, there are so many variables involved that, for me, I both Alex and I, in a former life, we were consultants, environmental consultants. We had a strong chemistry and hydrology and geology background. And I like to have control over what I was doing. And, at the time when I was homebrewing, they didn't, there weren't a lot of off the shelf things that you could buy. You had to come up with methods and build things and engineer things on your own to make it work. And that's still the case today. But, for me, it was when we had jacketed fermenters with glycol control that we could control everything within a half a degree, I was like completely beside myself.
And that's a big step from home brewing to a commercial brewing. When you're going to be serving the public, you got to have, it's got to be a recipe that you can duplicate and control it.
Sure. And that's critical. I mean, it absolutely is. And I know a lot of people put a lot of a focus on repeatability. Being repeatable is really important. But for small brewers, it's, there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of ways that, things change. And look, let's face it, people's palates change from month to month, week to week. I mean,
our palates have changed since we started down this, and we've mentioned that several times because, 2 years ago when we started drinking the craft beer, I never would have drank something like this, gentlemen. But my palate has changed so much, I'll drink it all. We've even got Dave drinking IPAs and sours now.
Right.
Yes, but I'm not guzzling them though, like you. This is good, but honestly, it's a little hoppy for me because I am not a person that is big on hoppy beer, and I'm also not a big person on sours. But I have drank my share of IPAs, hoppy beers, and sours, and I've enjoyed them. I have.
So as far as the home brewing goes, and you had mentioned it, Alan, these guys that we've heard this story over and over again. You learn to tinker and come up with a contraption to make it work. And then when you get to the commercial side of it and you can buy the equipment, you're like, holy shit, I don't have to make anything.
So the thing I'll say this, and I mean, Jake and Alex both see it firsthand, is that there's an advantage from being from the homebrew side to learning the technical details and the parts that require you to make good beer, require you to make good equipment, or change your process to make better things, right? And so there are times when we're making beer, I'm making beer, but we're doing something in some sort of process in the brew house where it's like, certainly be nice to be able to do it a little differently, and having that mentality of being able to tweak and play with copper or whatnot. It's put us in a position where we can build on the fly. So it saved us money. It's also cost us money, by making stupid mistakes. But our mash tun, I know you joked earlier about our mash tun. Our mash tun's an old dairy tank that's been converted. It's nothing fancy. It's a pain in the ass to dig out, but our extraction's great. It makes good beer, and it's not fancy. It works. It does what it needs to do. And at this point, I have a hard time justifying going out and spending another $20,000 on a mash tun that can do the same thing. But at the same time, I get it. There's controls that we would like to be able to mash out in a different way or do things differently in that sense.
And you mentioned that before. I got my own business as well. So when the business is profitable, you need to reinvest it, but you do it at the right time to make it more efficient. And if I can buy a piece of equipment from my technicians because I'm in the automotive repair, that's going to make their job better. It was worth the investment. Kind of like you're saying with this mash tun, you'll make the investment when you see the fit,
right?
That's beneficial for the business.
Pushing for you,
or until Jake's sitting there barking up your ass saying, "Hey, I need this now."
It will be beneficial for you.
The only way it's changed if he comes and says, "Look, I quit." There you go. No way I'm done. Oh, you think that? That ain't happening. So listen, Jakey. I can always call him Jakey. Jakey likes to run. He was a cross country runner, right? He loved to run. He loves to run. He still loves to run.
Beer slows you down a little bit, though.
That's beer slows you down. But I tell him, I said, you got to dig out the mash. It takes 30 minutes to dig out the mash tun. All right. Green machine takes you about 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, but he doesn't complain about having to go home and run that night because he got his workout.
He got his cardio workout.
So Alan told you stories, and I promise I'll make them quick. I'm the king of
don't make them quick.
But so as far as digging out mash tuns, the only thing that's worse to dig out in a mash tun is the Lazarus. Oh my God, the grain build on that is monstrous. Unless it's changed since the last time I dug it out, it is ridiculously full to dig out. And I forgot what the second story was, which is probably a good thing. Oh no, I remember it now. As my girlfriend says, I got a case of CRS, can't remember shit. And the older I get, it gets worse. So, but Frankenbrewing has always been a thing, and it really started among homebrewers. And I remember there was times when, just as far as cooling the wort down, I used to do it when I first started. I would just let it come down to temperature slowly, and then pitch the yeast.
Don't tell me you were sitting there blowing off the kettle like a cup of coffee.
Well, that's what I started doing. No, and then he came. I remember he said, one of the benefits of our background, where we grew up in the environmental field, we had to make things on the fly when we were in the field working, and we started doing things. He made a wort chiller, and that's the first time I ever saw him, come up with that. And I was like, this is kind of cool. This is unique. At that point, I had already stopped homebrewing just because I had kids and was in a different point in my life. But yeah, I mean that Frankenbrew has carried on into our brewery today at some point or another, and I'm sure there's a lot of other brewers out there that still do it.
Certainly.
And you know what? That might be a unique. That's part of your uniqueness that you have still this the Franken mash or whatever you're calling it. Every story we've come across there's been a unique story, and you guys are coming up with your own unique story.
So you guys saw the mash tun. You saw the mash tun back in the back there. It's an old Girton milk tank, like Alan said, and we just had 2 feet of 2 feet of stainless steel on top to go around it, and and move the hinge on top so that we can put the same lid on top of it. In fact, somebody found us a sign that says Girton milk tank used here, and it's screwed onto the cooler door right by the bar. Yeah, in fact, that sign was in an exhibit. Somebody came in and asked us to use the sign because they found out
it's an original sign. So back in the day, a lot of dairy farmers when they would buy equipment, it was really no different than buying a Ford or Chevy. They preferred certain equipment over others, and you get a deal if you hung the sign in the milk house. And the Girton milk sign that we had actually come from a farm in Altoona. And so that actually, the story actually goes, that milk tank actually came out of a dairy farm in Halifax, Pennsylvania. I pulled that tank out, as well as another one. The dairy farm hadn't milked cows since the 80s. So no joke, there was probably 2 inches of bird shit on top of it. When we pulled it out.
You didn't leave the bird shit on it when you put it on the back there, did you?
No.
You saw it. It was beautiful. It was spotless. Stainless steel, shiny and pretty.
That's right. So and honestly, so that thing was built, I want to say, in the early 50s. And it was an ice bath tank. So I mean, I'm going way beyond what. And so an ice bath tank actually was that there was water inside the jacket, and the glycol, or not at the time, I think it was probably ammonia and something else, would freeze the water and then keep the milk cold.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a cool story.
So, right. It's I'm a firm believer in being able to reuse equipment when we can, and not even from trying to save money, but from just because we can, and I don't know. It's a cool story, and not to mention it does a pretty damn good job.
It
works.
It's insulated, so it's
with the exception of those top 2 feet, that whole thing is double wall insulated.
And Jake will attest the fact that it's just such a thermal mass and the mash that ours, we may see a degree drop over an hour, in the mash, and that's hardly worth worrying about. In today's world, the way grain is modified and things like that, it's not an issue.
We don't use
why change what's working? Don't fix what's not broke, right?
So that means you're not getting
that part of your interview. Hey, can you brew in this thing?
Can you show me?
No, that was not the question. It was, can you dig this out? How long are your arms? That's the real question.
What did you have to show a bicep, like that you can shovel the shit?
Well, that part of it was, can you lift a grain bag, which is about 55 pounds, but some of the shovel scoops are pretty heavy too. Wet grain.
Yeah, because it's got a lot of moisture still in it.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
So, Alex, did you homebrew too, and that's how you guys kind of got together?
Well,
you introduced him to his wife.
Yeah, like Alan said, we started working together. I actually check me if I'm wrong, but I had just gotten married. I had just recovered from a motorcycle accident, and I had come back to work. It took me 6 months to learn. I went through a couple of surgeries, 6 months to learn how to walk again. I come back and I see this guy, and I say, "Who's this?" And they introduced me to him, and I had music in my desk. I saw he had a bunch of CDs. We started.
He had a complete Lego.
I still have them.
He does. think it was a Death Star. No,
It was an
Death Star,
X-wing
it was an
and a TIE fighter.
Yeah, and
Lego model.
and I was
sitting
like,
on my
who's this nerd back here? You know,
Yeah.
So you're a Star Wars geek like me.
I am very much so.
I love Star Wars, but not like that.
I'm a big nerd.
Not to mention, I'd rather spend my money on beer instead of Legos.
Well, when you're sitting in your sofa for 6 months at least 3 months to learn how to walk again, unable to move, you have to have something to do, right?
It's always got to go there.
But so I met this asshole, and I had a party, and my friend moved down here from Johnstown area, and this guy was I was working with him. I said, hey, I'm having a party. We're going to just throw some hot dogs and burgers and stuff on the grill, drink some beer, maybe go downtown. This is back when downtown Harrisburg was hopping, before it was a dead spot like it is now. But we would go there and have a couple beers, and the next thing you know, he ends up hanging out with my one friend, and it's all history. They get married, but while we were hanging out together, even before I introduced him to his wife, we were brewing homebrew. I told him I homebrew. He said I homebrew. So we just started brewing together every once in a while.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What were some of the recipes you guys came up with together?
Oh, nothing. We basically
I was his critic. I was like,
Yeah.
look, don't fucking do that ever again.
Yeah. So none of the recipes that are in the Boneshire list right now are anything I came up with, because it usually came up with, don't do that again. That was horrible. Or I would bitch and say, I like a flavor.
To be fair, we learned what not to do.
Hey, I tell you what, that sounds like a pretty fucking cool beer name. Don't do that again.
I'm the king of beer names, as we found out the other weekend.
I know that that's a joke about the names. Naming beers is hard. In today's world, it's hard.
It's not easy.
I tell you what, my wife said I would love to have that job. I'm like, honey, you'd like to have a lot of jobs. So being the home, we've been doing kit beers until my wife got me this Brewzilla, and we did this Irish Red. And then we were over there. I was over at Lancaster Home Brew Supplies and got my supplies for my first all grain for the Irish Red. And she found a cider kit. She goes, can we do this? I'm like, well, we can do that. Now you got a couple beers you got to come up with, because I did our last kit beer, which was a Kolsch, because I fucked the first one up because I didn't have my brewing partners with me.
You always need somebody there to tell you to not do something stupid.
Yeah, don't do that again, right?
Don't do that again.
Or when somebody's brewing with somebody else, somebody gets blamed for the mistakes.
Pass the buck. There's another freaking beer name. There you go. I'm giving you guys all kind of ideas today.
That's what people don't understand. Half these beer names out there probably have a hidden story behind them. And I mean, we were just out in we went and took a guys' weekend 2 weekends ago. We're up in Allegheny National Forest, hanging out, drinking, and spending some time in the woods. And I may have had a beer or two too many, and was just spouting off beer names all night long.
Nobody can remember a goddamn.
Can't remember one of them, but I had some pretty good ones.
So the Irish Red I came up with, I wanted to pay tribute because I'm paying tribute to like the English style. I went with Aaron Brawless. That's my Irish Red. But I told my wife, but naming beers, I said, you got a cider to name, and I got this Kolsch. We got to come up with a name. So come up with a name. You said you wanted this job. Let's do it. She said, you have to come up with a name.
Nice. You did.
She still didn't come up with a name for it.
One time, right?
But I think it's cool. We've mentioned the names that are out there, the can arts you guys come up with, and it's just this whole industry is just absolutely fantastically cool. It is cool, and I'm glad to see you guys are successful and you guys are maintaining what you're doing, because we had a great time when we were up there.
Yeah, we did.
Dave doesn't get to go travel to some of the brewery pubs that we go to, and he was fortunate enough to go with us that night. So we had a good time. I mean, thank you, gentlemen, for having us up there. It was great.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Glad you can make it up.
But speaking of beer names, I'm ready for another one. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's do it.
What is going to be our second beer tasting?
It is Flying Hawaiian.
So speaking of beer names, who came up with that name?
So I used to love 80s wrestling. And
Yeah. You and Ben would get along really well.
I pineapple, like I love pineapple. Like there's, like honestly, I could just eat. I know this is weird. I could eat pineapple all the time. I could eat tidbits, freaking whole pineapple, you name it, pineapple juice, pineapple, right? So several years ago, was February. Actually, it was January. I was like, I had the shits of just the cold weather, and it was like, you know what? Let's have a luau in the middle of February.
Oh, that's pretty
like,
cool.
All right, well, we got to come up with a Hawaiian themed beer if we're going to do that. And it was like, well, usually our beer names, they either come like that or it's like a struggle. And this one came just like that.
I mean, our Kolsch is named Kolsch.
Right. It's not too fancy. Something like there's certain beer styles that just, you don't need a name.
You don't.
Kolsch is one.
Unless you're Alex out in the middle of the Appalachian, you can't figure it out and you remember what the hell you said.
That's right.
So the Flying Hawaiian. So you say you like the Hawaiian style? Is that what you're after? Because of the pineapple?
No. So the deal is that I love pineapple, and at the time, pineapple, mango, and passion fruit were, what was available in the middle of January, and so that's what we went with. And so pineapple was definitely, it's very pineapple forward. This batch is like screams pineapple. So there's a fine balance, between the three, because mango can be overpowering, so can pineapple, and passion fruit can kind of get muted. Passion fruit tends to be more tart and sour than a lot of other characteristics. Passion fruit isn't something that everybody's even had, for the most part. But in this beer, pineapple certainly is the star. You go to Hawaii, you're gonna eat Spam, and traditionally eat Spam and eat pineapple, right?
I like Spam.
I used to think that was the grossest thing ever. And then one time I made a Spam and cheese hot, like grilled cheese. And oh my God, I've fallen in love with Spam ever since.
What is it? Don't try it till you fry it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm not a big Spam fan. Yeah, that's kind of rhymes. So I'm not a big
Any
Spam
type of
fan.
meat that comes out of a can is probably not high quality.
My grandfather was in the Navy in World War II, and he absolutely, if it was Spam or chip corned beef, he was like, I ate enough of that shit in the Navy. He told my grandmother, don't ever put it on a plate in front of me ever again.
Shit on a shingle, baby. Shit on a shingle.
He would not eat it.
Cheers to the Flying Hawaiian. Oh,
Definitely a pineapple flavor.
this is a kettle. Is this a kettle sour, or you're calling it what kind of a sour?
It's a true kettle sour with lactobacillus. You let it sit in the kettle and do its thing for 24, 48 hours, and then you boil it and kill it. Regular yeast.
This is like drinking a pineapple juice almost. This is really good. Dangerously good.
It's a good job on this.
But we've noticed that we said with consistency, sour to sour, we try to get as consistent as possible with the pH and the lactobacillus producing its share of lactic acid. But we do notice a difference in sourness batch to batch. And this is one of the more mildly sour beers we have, which we've had some that'll pucker you up, but certainly.
So how hard is this to duplicate on a regular basis?
We're getting better. Is that
Yeah.
Matt? I mean,
I'm asking because you're saying it's sour.
We've changed. All right. So one of the challenges that we've had is it's not really a challenge. We've flipped around on
Bacteria.
Yeah, on the lactobacillus that we get. And we found that certain suppliers, theirs produces a more sour note quicker than others. Part of it is certainly us and the mash, maybe. trying to, predict and project, like tweak the recipe. For instance, with this beer, the last time we brewed it, it was really sour. It was like overly sour. And so we were trying to cut it back some. And so with the fruit that we added, we were trying to not be overly sweet. Well, I think this is a tad bit sweeter than what I want, but it's still damn good. It tastes great. But
I think that's a damn good beer. It's not overly sour like you're saying, and it's like drinking a fruit juice. That'll fuck you up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is one of those ones you drink after you cut the grass for a little bit, and you have another one, and then you have another one, and all of a sudden
Next
you
thing
go
you know,
in
it's 8 o'clock and you're sitting on the back porch.
drooling on yourself.
and if you can ask Dave here, I'm anal about how I mow my grass.
Yeah.
So if I start drinking that, I'm not going to have my nice straight lines. It'll be all like the.
Yeah,
that's really good. So Dave, what do you think? Because you're not the sour guy either, but
no, I'm not big on sours, but this is not bad. This is pretty good. I have enjoyed quite a few sours. Some of the sours that I don't like are the ones that just pucker you up and you just don't enjoy the beer. I mean, it's just that it's like you think about it, it's like hot wings. There are some hot wings that you can eat and you enjoy them. Your other hot wings, they're just flamethrowers. And all they do is just they burn the inside of your mouth, and you're saying, "Why did I pay $12 for the for 5 of these?"
They'll burn your ass the next morning too.
Yeah, they will. But this is pretty good. This is pretty good because it doesn't do that. It's like Brett said. It's similar to drinking fruit juice, and it's very tasty. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to refill. So, Alan, I see you like baseball.
Yeah.
What is your favorite team? So I'm probably going to. You're out in the Pittsburgh area, right?
There's only one team.
But we do nudge him because Flying Wine, I think, if I was Shane Victorino's nickname.
Yeah.
I actually played football or baseball from the time I was 6 to 23. Played football from the time I was 10 to 21, 22. And if I ever was allowed to play sports again, would probably be baseball. Not that I'm not allowed. It's just that my life and the things that I have in my life won't let me. I have two. I have a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they love baseball. I love coaching baseball. I'm heavily involved with a local baseball organization. So it's probably as much of involved in my life as making beer at this point.
Yeah, I love baseball. You watch any of the World Baseball Classic?
We were, the boys and I were watching a little bit last night. And I probably went away from just enjoying the game to critiquing the boys more, like saying this is how you're supposed to swing, this is how you're supposed to throw, things like that. But yeah,
right. What do you like on the side?
So I'm big into fly fishing. Love to fly fish, mostly for trout, but I'll fish for anything.
So do you tie your own flies?
Yes, I do.
That was cool. I did that.
Making. Yeah, I didn't get into it till late, and I was terrible at it for quite a few years. But
fucking serious? Jesus Christ! Sorry, Jake.
But I'm patient, and I like to just be outside in the water. So, and I also help my brother.
So, Alex.
Go ahead.
I think I cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, finish up.
No, that's fine. I was just going to add that I go on a family farm, and my brother's neighbor, so I also help him. So,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, Alex, I see that you like cigars.
I do.
Yeah.
I like tobacco. I like pipes. I like cigars. I like when I smoke cigars. I like to smoke when I drink.
Yeah. Yeah, that was years ago for me. I used to smoke a good cigar every once in a while when we had some beer. But I started smoking cigars when I was in college. But lately, it's I kind of gotten out of it. Maybe about 10 years ago. It just got to a point where, you lose interest in it. But I know a lot of people who smoke cigars, and we had a cigar. Didn't we have a cigar the other night? Or not the other night. We were
been a while.
Yeah, we had every once in a while we'll get somebody to bring us a good cigar over and say, you're gonna want to try this. So I do enjoy that. But I see that you like them all. You like tobacco, as you put it.
Yeah, and I said that the only thing that I really don't like about cigars is sometimes how long it takes to smoke one. But
yeah,
I got into pipes because of this guy. I have a corncob pipe and a corncob MacArthur pipe that I really enjoy smoking, and I'll sit and smoke it. It takes a couple minutes instead of 45 minutes to smoke a cigar or a half hour to smoke a cigar. So I can go out with a glass of bourbon or a beer and pack a pipe and chill out and relax, and then come back in and don't have to worry about spending 45 minutes in the cold.
Sure.
Yeah, my dad I grew up with pipe smoker. My dad smoked pipe. I never got into that, and I never got into the other kind of pipe either.
Yeah. Another thing, you had said it, you're into bikes. Was that a Schwinn? I'm sorry.
Well, both. I have a Trek and I have an old 03 Kawasaki Main Street.
Oh yeah.
That I really enjoy riding both, but I haven't ridden the one with the motor on in at least 2 years, and then the Trek. I try to do some riding regularly with my kids and my girlfriend. Just some rail trails here and there.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine. So as far as what you guys are doing, do you guys do like live music, or what do you got anything you promote up there? What do you guys do during the week?
So we have a huge mug club group. We have close to 400 mug club members.
And what's the mug club called?
And so it's it's just Boneshire Mug Club. But what the hell is we call them muggers, because they're gonna steal your soul, but that's not the point. I know, I'm a terrible joker. At any rate, so 400 Mug Club members. We have every Tuesday night we have Mugger Tuesday. Wednesdays we have Trivia Night, which has been really big in the area now. Not that it hasn't been before, but for some reason over the last several months, we have a pretty large following on Wednesdays. And we do music. It's twice a month. We try to we've tried to our place is small, so that's part of the problem is that we can't have right. It's cozy. We cram a lot of people in there when we have to. That's why we're ready for the warmer months, because once we can get the patio area open, and then we can spread out the humanity, if you will, and so the big draws right now is trivia, and our mug club membership is, like I said, just huge, and we exist because of those guys that support us. We've been fortunate to have a huge local following, that support us, and we have a very unique group of people that come in and support us, and we have lawyers to plumbers to bankers to everything and anything between. That's the one thing about craft beer and beer in general. That's what it is.
Brings people together, and we met two of your mug club winners there the other night. That they said they have something special they do with you,
Darius and Steve.
Yeah. So every year we pick two muggers of the year, and essentially they're mug club members that have we always say go above and beyond to support us and to show their love of craft beer by most of the time it's because they're there all the time. So every year
Go ahead, Alan.
So every year we do they're kind of like our ambassadors, for lack of better terms, but they get to go do beer festivals with us, and they'll get to brew a beer with us. We usually do one beer a year with our muggers of the year, and then they get their names put up in the wall of infamy. And it's been this will be our 7th year, and Steve and Darius are the last 2. So we haven't brewed the beer with them yet, but that's on the docket. And
well, I'm supposed to mention you guys are going to be doing a black IPA that you're not knowing about.
That doesn't surprise me, because they both, it's the mix of, so Darius loves stouts and Steve loves IPA, so it makes complete sense. And they both love Jesus Christ, black IPA we do. Iscariot, which is it's basically an ungodly hoppy stout that we do, and they both love it.
So we met them the other night. We were up there with you guys when we visited, and Darius said, just tell them we're going to be doing a black IPA, but they don't fucking know it yet.
It doesn't surprise me.
Finding out, I guess.
Jake, get ready.
I'm glad they got their shit together, because I usually don't.
Get ready, Jake, because they're going to pop out.
It usually takes one of us reminding them, hey, you need to do the beer with the muggers here that you promised them about 11 months ago.
That's right.
Oh, you haven't done that one yet either.
We did. We just did.
Yeah, we just did that. That's the Muy Bien.
That's pretty cool. You guys take you take the Mug Club guys that have supported you, and you bring, and these guys apparently are home brewers as well, so they come in and help you. That is an awesome idea, how to give back. That is great. That's an awesome idea.
It's certainly been, one of the things that really, it's not just that. I mean, we do a lot of different things throughout the year where we try to get our Mug Club members involved. For a lot of these people, they're not just customers. They've become family members as well. I mean, we hang out with a lot of these people, and I say that loosely, that they're not just these people. These are our friends, family members, extended family, and I can tell you that it's been certainly above and beyond what I expected when I got into the business. And to be honest, that's, I love making beer. I love doing this, but I enjoy sitting down and hanging out on a Tuesday where it was a shitty day and drinking a beer with, somebody else that had a shitty day. And it's like the camaraderie that you get to develop. And it doesn't have to be a shitty day. It could be a good day too. I mean, that happens, well, maybe not quite as often as I'd like, but that's how life goes.
And that's awesome. And that's how you create that environment and the value for your business that they want to keep coming back. So I think that's great.
Certainly.
Well, that's one of the things that I like to do too. And I like to share the idea of craft beer with people, and especially with us at Boneshire. When someone comes in there and they've never been there before, I want them to feel welcome. I want them to feel like this is their I'm probably going to get hit for this, but they're cheers. Come in and hang out, and be comfortable here. Enjoy what I enjoy. I want you to appreciate it. And if you don't like the craft style of beer that I like, I'm sure I can find one that you do like. That kind of stuff. That's what I love about the whole thing.
So, do you have a norm that comes in there that everybody else norm?
We have about 10 of them. Yeah. We have 10 of them. If not more.
Yeah. It depends on the week.
Which one of you is Woody and which one of you is Coach behind the bar?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He's the grumpy one. So whichever one the grumpy one is, that's him.
See. I think Alexis is probably Woody. I mean, I don't understand that. He's like, shit. Cheers was over and done with probably 10 years before he was born. So
yeah, this kid over here doesn't know.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? I have no clue what you're talking about.
I saw the bar in Boston. That was it.
I cried on the last episode when they shut it down. When Sam turned the lights out and said we're closed, I cried because I love that show. During
So
COVID,
when I watched this show, I mean, it ended probably, I was probably 13 years old, you know, and as a kid, you know, I grew up in Fort Wayne, Stevie, where you had 2, 4, and 11. You know, if the wind was blowing right, you might have Fox, but that was probably on rarity. So it was pretty much whatever was on TV was what we watched. And I loved Cheers as a kid. I never understood it much, but as I get older now, I look back and I'm like, you know, I get it. And you know, the whole Cheers mentality. And I a lot of people say, you know, where does craft beer fit in the world? And for us, and a lot of breweries, it's that's what it is. Like we have essentially created the, you know, the Cheers bar mentality. We've created that at-home environment where, you know, I'm not gonna lie, we've got 10, 15 guys that are there on a regular basis. And it's not just guys, it's women, it's everybody, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, go ahead, Alan. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I guess what I'm getting at is that, you know, the craft beer scene isn't just about beer. It's beyond that.
No.
You know, we've always made sure that that's always been the case for us. And, you know, it's not just that, it's people. You know, that's what makes it what it is.
And we've mentioned that several times as far as, you know, when I grew up, you know, you went to a bar and usually it was a bar. You had a good time. You went there looking for a couple things, had a good time. But the way the craft beer industry is going, you guys, the tap rooms, the brew pubs and stuff like that, they're more family friendly. It's an inviting environment for everybody. And you just touched on that, Alan. And I think that's what's great about this whole thing. And I hope it has not hit its peak. I hope it just keeps going up. That this is a family friendly environment, and bring your friends, bring your family, some of them are even pet friendly. You know, bring your pets. I don't understand that because I don't take my pets anywhere. They stay at home. I don't need to take them to Lowe's and shit like that. But it is an inviting environment. And I think it's what's setting this apart. And you guys, places like you and everybody else have set a new standard for what it should be. You're going to get a quality beer. You're going to get an inviting and friendly environment. Owners that are willing to come out and talk to you and sit with you and have a beer on a good day or a bad day. And just, it's what it's about. You got to create that value that's going to bring people to you. And you guys, kudos. You guys are doing that, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
So I think we got a couple more beers here. What's going to be our next one? I did not have this one yet. This was our, which one's this one?
It's the barley wine.
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out when we brewed this, and it's approaching a year old. It's got to be really close.
So whose recipe is this one?
This is mine as well. It's something that was developed in the years of the existence of Boneshire. It's not, it's through the education that we received in the School of Hard Knocks. Let's put it that way.
Yep. So Alex, you said you like the barley wines. Is this one of did you have any input on this one?
I did not, but when he brewed it, it was everything that I stereotypically thought of as a barley wine. And I remember him grumbling at me the first time that I tasted it. He said, "This isn't what I wanted. This is not this." I said, "You hit every note you wanted to on this, and this is a barley wine. I would drink this all day long. Well, I would drink one of these and then pass out, and then wake up again and try to drink another. Because I can't drink this all day long. But yeah, this is what I like."
You didn't tell him don't do that again. You told him do that again, right?
Yes, keep doing this. Do this plenty of times over again.
So the thing about barley wines is that they need age, they need time, and the longer they sit, the better they are, and this is certainly, a year old at least, or damn near a year old. It's right on where it needs to be.
It smells delicious. So to the barley wine day, do you barrel age any of this, Alan?
Unfortunately, we did not this batch. We should have.
But you have done it.
Certainly.
So here's to your barley wine. It's just called a barley wine. No, you haven't come up with a great name for this yet?
Barley wine.
Boneshire
Barley wine. 2022.
Boneshire barley wine. Cheers to the Boneshire barley wine.
That's pretty good.
I'll be honest, I have not had one of those in quite a while. And
24 hours?
yeah. No, probably in honestly, probably a couple months. And it just, the older it gets, the better it gets.
Oh,
it's pretty good.
That really hits the palate. That is, it sits there. It's a little bit boozy on the back end, but that's what you're supposed to get when the longer it sits. That's stealthy.
That would be amazing with a nice piece of roast beef or a piece of grilled chicken or something like that. Some
and
roast
a good cigar, right?
And a good cigar. Yeah, absolutely.
Good cigar.
I love to pair food and beer and drinks together.
That's what Dave's trying to put together. We're trying to put food pairings together with beer. Trying to come up with some brewers that have brew pubs that would want to put and you guys could do pizza. Hey, this pizza goes with this beer.
Yeah, we've lined up chefs from different brew houses, restaurants, and such, and they're going to bring their creations that they feel that goes good with their beers, and then we're going to actually present them and try them out and taste them, and we're going to make some comments. We're going to do it on air. And we're going to have some comments on the pairings, and then we're going to let the public know where they can find this. We'll take pictures of it. We'll have it on the internet, and they'll be able to say, "Hey, this pairing here. If you want to see what everyone else thought about it, check out the podcast because the podcasts stay on. We keep a listing of them, online, but." You'll be able to go on the podcast and check it out and see what everybody thinks about it. And if you want it, we'll tell you where to go get it.
I think it's a great idea.
Pardon me?
I said it's a great idea.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So any room for, any future plans? You guys both said you want to continue to grow the business. Future plans, bigger footprint?
We have been, yeah, absolutely. We have been, I hate to come back to it. COVID screwed up a lot of plans for a lot of people,
Yes, it did.
We've been working for a while on, ultimately trying to buy a larger property, with a large building. We've been looking for a while. We're in no hurry. We're looking for the right place, and we're kind of old school in that, we're trying to do it, and make it right. We're going to get one crack at it, and so our goal is to own large 15,000 square foot building where we can do and increase our production tremendously, as well as do a lot of different events and a lot of different things that a small space won't afford us to do. And unfortunately, the housing market it's been all over the place, and the commercial real estate market is way worse. And so, we've been kind of not in a holding pattern. We're always looking, but we're just waiting for the right situation. We're waiting for the right building. The reality of it is that we're in the right spot. We haven't pulled the trigger and put ourselves in a bad position. And
you'll know when that door opens.
Yep.
You'll know when that door opens correctly.
Correct. And that's how it works, and we've built this from the ground up. It's not we didn't have a boatload of money we just threw at it. We've put a lot of passion, a lot of effort, and a lot of time in it. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And there's a lot of people in this business that have. And what I'll say is that we have not forgotten where we've come from, and that's part of what we want to do. We want to keep that. And so
I think it's a great business plan. And knowing that you guys have put your own money into this to make it work makes it even that much sweeter when it does turn positive and you continue to grow. I think that's what makes business better.
Until you've worked 8 hours at your regular job, come home, ate dinner, kissed your kids goodnight, and then worked 8 hours until 2 or 3 in the morning, building out your brewery space with 2 or 3 other guys and a case of beer. You don't know what it really means to put it in, and but it also put the time in. But you also reap the rewards, and they are far sweeter than they would be any other.
I think that's what's unique about every story we've heard. Now, do you guys still hold full-time jobs as well?
I do.
I do not. I've been full-time at the brewery for 6 years.
So this is your full-time gig, Alan. So you kind of met Alex and said, "Fuck it, I'm going here. I'm done."
I won't give him that much credit.
He did ask me how I felt about it, and I thought it was the right move to make.
I'll be honest, this is legitimately the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And people ask me, "Oh, it's great being in the beer world." No, it is. It's scary as hell. It's just like anything else. It's just like anything you want to do that's worthwhile. It's not easy. And I'm not, I love it. I do. I'm not gonna lie. There's days, Jake will tell you right now, I'm a miserable prick. And there are days when it's the complete opposite of that. And I'll tell you this right now, the days that are great way outnumber the days that aren't good. And my theory on it is if that's the way it's going, then we're doing it right.
That's what counts.
Yep. I tell you what, so my parents started the automotive business that I took over. And everybody in high school was like, "Oh, you're going to be rich. You're going to be easy. You're going to have your own place." Yeah, right. I'm not rich. And there are days like you just, Alan, I just want to walk up there and put a for sale sign on it, especially in the automotive world, because my world sucks. I hate every day's different. And it's a drastic change. And you get a car in there, you're trying to figure out, and it's like, what the fuck? All right, I'm putting a for sale sign on it. And the next day turns around to be an awesome day. So,
right.
Alex, what's your plans? Are you planning on being full time with this? Quit your other job? I mean, what's the plans on you? And we're going to get to Jake here in a minute.
When we hit it big and we're as big as InBev, I'll quit working my 40 hours. But until then,
let's be clear. He does not work 40 hours.
I work. I'm the hardest working person. I'm the hardest working person I know.
What do they get? 37 and a half hours a week. Is that what it is?
37 and a half hours. You have to put the half in there, right?
Yeah, you got to put the half in.
You got to get that gets you the benefits. You 37 and a half hours, get you the benefit package. Jake, what's your future plans here? Whatever they tell me.
Eventually, I want to go my own way and open up my own brewery, but that takes money and time and effort, as they just talked about.
I'll tell you this much: he's on the right path because he's learning it the hard way, on the job training, and that's not necessarily the hard way; that's the right way.
That's the best way.
It is, and he's learning it. He's learning what to do and what not to do. He sees my mistakes, and he knows he's a smart kid. He's not a kid. He's a smart dude. He knows, he sees me struggle, and he gets those opportunities, and that's the other cool thing about this business is that, I always like it. The beer world is like kind of like the pizza revolution in that, with one big difference. Back in the 70s, there's a lot of people that got into the pizza business, and everybody had their super secret dough recipe, and they were super secret about protecting it. And it was very competitive, and the beer world's competitive. But the difference is that everybody's willing to work together for the most part. There's a limit, but he's in a position where he's gotten the chance to learn from not just me, from everybody and staff and every situation. He's done damn near every job you could do at a brewery, from being an electrician to being a brewer to being a bartender to a pizza maker. He's done it all,
So, Jake, is this what you foresaw as your future, or did you just kind of happen into it and I'm happy where I'm at?
No, not at all. I went to college with the goal of go to law school. So I have a classics background, Latin, Greek, languages, which does not pertain to chemistry or anything you need in the brewing world.
So just so you know, Jake speaks like 4 or 5 languages fluently.
So you say you said law school. Did I hear you right?
Yeah, that was the plan. So I went to undergrad for classics.
So you're fucking smart, is what you're saying.
No.
The thing I know is that every 3 days, everybody looks at me because you better go to fucking law school. I'll tell you that right now.
I tell you what.
Sometimes you tell me to become a smart kid we know.
Yeah. You guys got a good thing going up there. Let me tell you, just keep doing what you're doing. Jake, keep learning on the job training from Alan and Alex. Yeah, I think you guys got it going on. You guys survived COVID. You guys are doing well. I can't say enough about it. I mean, I've enjoyed every beer I've had from you guys, and I've been up there a couple times, and like I said, I was over at Greystone, got their beer. I brought that Irish Red home, you guys, the Dilston. Is that what it was that you brewed for them?
Yep.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing, and that door will open when it's necessary for you guys to make that next step. I've had a fantastic time. Do you guys got any? Tell us again where they can find Boneshire Brew Works. Where can they find you?
7462 Dairy Street. We're at the end of Dairy Street, right where Nyes Road crosses over Dairy Street. We're about halfway between Hershey and Harrisburg.
All right, you guys are on the internet. Make sure you check them out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Who takes care of all that for you? You letting that to the young guy, Jake?
No, he's not allowed to do that.
He's not allowed.
I am. That's right. There'd be less spelling mistakes. That's for certain. I am the social media guy, the accountant, the head brewer,
the inventory guy.
No, that's Jake.
Oh, the order.
I'm the ordering guy. I'm now managing front of the house and HR, and I do too much. But
so you wear many hats like every business owner does.
That's right. That's right. Every business owner, it's what it takes. That's what it takes.
So I got one last comment, Alex. When I was texting you that we were at your place, you said you got to go check out the bathrooms. What's special about the bathrooms?
Oh, it's just, I don't even know how it started, but all of a sudden somebody, I think it was us actually, when we were building that place out, we were drinking different beers, different craft beers while we were working at night. And we would just pull the labels off the cans or get a sticker with a can that we had and just slap it up on the wall in the bathrooms. And we have the men's and women's bathrooms are both graffitied in beer labels, beer stickers, beer podcast stickers, beer supplier stickers, grain house stickers, you name it, they're all up in there. There's some unique labels and breweries that you've never heard of or seen in there before. And it's really weird. You're sitting there going to the bathroom and go, oh, I haven't seen that one before. I haven't seen that one before. And, yeah.
Well, hopefully when they're looking at them, they're at least got good aim.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we did put a sticker or two in. We also left a bunch of them at the desk for you, at the bar for you guys. But your wall that has some guitars on there, Dave took notice to that, and he said I can't play that because it didn't have the strings or in some assembly required. But we noticed a bunch of graffiti on the wall. Is that a special thing?
It is. So, every musician that comes in, they get to sign the wall. at least once. And so we've had a bunch, and some that would surprise you that would want to play at our place, and others that probably shouldn't come back. But and it's a cool thing to see. It reminds me every day when I come in and I see it. It's like, this is pretty cool. It helps keep me going.
It hits you right here.
It does.
Hits you here.
Certainly does.
And kudos to you guys that what you guys have accomplished on your own, with the help of some family members, to make what you guys got. I mean, 2016 we're 7 years in now, almost 8. So you guys have survived COVID. You guys come up with a way, and you guys are continuing to grow. Yeah, I've had a great time. Dave, any last comments?
No, not anything in particular. I just enjoyed my visit, and I enjoyed the opportunity to come back and take a few photos of your brew equipment. And I was surprised to see a full canner in there. I didn't expect to see that. I've been taking the pictures of a lot of the breweries, and you don't find that in every one of them. So
we've become experts at cramming 20 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Ain't that
that's true. And I was different than Brett and Kevin, where I decided to get your nachos, which were very good. And I appreciated it. I'm not a big pizza fan. I enjoy pizza, but I think I overdid it. And now I've gotten, don't want to eat it all the time, but the nachos were awesome. I've never seen a setup like that. That's nice.
Yeah. So
what pizza did you have, Brett?
What did I have? I had the Shire.
Nice.
I got the Shire with banana peppers.
Yeah.
I never had banana peppers on my pizza, but it was fucking awesome.
So that came to be because when we would sit there and work throughout the days, this guy goes, I want to order some pizza. And he would order pizza. And he goes, I ordered it with sausage and banana peppers, or bacon and banana peppers, or some sort of meat and banana peppers. And that became the Shire.
That was awesome. It was very good. I'm like, because I think the first time my wife and I stopped in there, I had the margarita, because that's what she kind of likes, the fresh mozzarella and the whatever else you put on it. And I'm like, I want something different. So I got the Shire, because I like banana peppers on my sandwiches. So I never had banana peppers on my pizza. It was great. I couldn't eat it all. Of course, I had a couple beers too. So, gentlemen, I tell you what, this has been fun getting to sit here and talk to you guys.
We have one more.
We got one more to cheers out with. Any last comments you gentlemen have?
No, it's there's often times when you're always trying to figure out why you do anything in life. And for me, it's I like being in the position where things change all the time. It's not always good. And as well as I do, as being in the business world, is running your own business, I should say, is that it isn't always cupcakes and rainbows.
Oh no.
But there's days like today where it's been a good day, and you get to be in a position where you get to try to make something that gives somebody a bit of a respite out of life, and fortunately for us in the beer world, we've been given that opportunity. And for us specifically, we have a ridiculously huge local following that comes from all walks of life, that gets the chance to enjoy it with us. And we're not always on top of things, we're not always perfect, but these guys that support us every day keep us going. That's for sure.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Exactly. That's every business. So, gentlemen, we've had a great time getting to know you guys, Alan, Alex, and Jake. Jake, you gonna be the next owner when you buy them out?
No, I hope to start on, but I'm really committed to going in there.
You,
He's on
you
his
got
way.
you got to shovel more shit before you get to there, right?
Exactly. Before we buy him, when he leaves us, that's when we're buying the match gun. Because then we don't have the young guy to dig everything out for us.
There we go. There we go. So, what is going to be our cheers beer, gentlemen? This was in a bottle, correct?
Yep, this is great. This is actually a Belgian white ale. It's been this beer is 5 years old, believe it or not. It spent 2 years in a barrel, in a Chardonnay barrel. It was dosed with 2 different Brett strains. It is a sipper. It is a enjoy with your friends and relax beer. It's not anything other than that. It's been this beer has been around for a while. Like I said, 5 years. It's 5 years old.
So who's Grace? Or is
Grace
it just
you? Grace is my grandma.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is named after your grandma.
Yep. She raised me. She was one of 8 people that raised me.
That is awesome. So if you're out there, let's raise a glass with Alex, Alan, and Jake from Boneshire Brew Works and the CPP crew. And let's all be bonded by beer. Cheers. Gentlemen.
Cheers.